Alright, what's up everybody, it's your boy DudePlays here, back again with some more reaction videos for you guys. So today we're checking out ETA Prime again. Steam on Android, GameHub makes it stupid simple. So essentially we're going to be watching him play PC games on his Android device. And he's going to go into detail on settings, performance, blah blah blah. Because these translation layers are getting really good. Before we get started, comment, like, share, subscribe. Socials in the description, let's get into it.
What if I told you you could play full Windows PC games like GTA 5 right on your Android phone or tablet? And when I say play
I'd
PC
believe you.
games, I'm not talking about cloud gaming, I'm not talking about streaming. What we've got here is x86 emulation, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to easily set this up. In fact, you're going to be able to install games from your Steam library and even sync up your save files using a simple application for Android known as GameHub. I've been using this application for quite some time. It's from a company known as GameCern. You might have heard of them. Initially, when this released, the only way you could use a controller was using one of their GameCern controllers, which was definitely a big letdown. But now you can basically use any controller, even if you want to use like a wireless PlayStation 4 controller or a wireless Xbox controller.
I must say, I do like the idea of having these controllers that clip the phone in. I wish there was a version that like you could lock it in and just actually have the phone as like a
And a
Steam
few
Deck, a
months
mini
back, they
Steam
also
Deck.
added Steam support, so it's really easy to log into your Steam account inside of GameHub and get the games you already own. It used to be that this was kind of a DRM-free situation, but now with Steam integration and even Steam cloud saves, you can basically install any Steam game. Now, not all Steam games are going to work. Keep that in mind. It's not a perfect solution to running Windows games on your Android device, but there are a lot of games here that are working, and they work way better than I ever thought they
It's
would.
already too good to
So
be
what I've
true.
got here is the Red Magic 10 Pro. It's got the Snapdragon 8 Elite. You could also go with something like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. You could go below that, but just keep in mind, I mean, for 3D games, you will need a little more power to emulate these games in Android. And I waited on this because the whole GameSurge situation, just knowing that you had to have one of their controllers in order to use it, plus the Snapdragon 8 Elite was the chip that I really wanted to test out, but drivers weren't so great. And to tell you the truth, in some cases, you might see better performance out of something like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. It just really depends on the game. But either way, PC game emulation on Android has definitely come a long way. So before we get into it, I do want to show you like Skyrim running.
Oh, nice. They have a compatibility thing. Alright, so perfect support, recommended minimum requirements, Snapdragon 865. It is recommended to set the minimum game quality to 720p in game. It is recommended to play with a handle. It is recommended to open the highest performance mode of the mobile phone. A device with a minimum of 12 gigs of RAM is recommended.
It does say perfect support here, but I've run into some games that say perfect support and they just won't boot up, at least on my system here. And there's also a ton of parameters that you can change, but luckily GameHub actually downloads a nice little profile for each game that's been tested that they've made a profile for. And for the most part, that should get you started without having to mess around with a bunch of settings. Now, what GameHub is doing here is very similar to what Winlator is doing. We're basically just emulating x86 over here. It uses Wine, it uses Proton, it uses Mesa drivers depending on what CPU you're using. And the whole application here is really easy to navigate with the controller or even just the touch screen. So keep in mind, you don't need a controller. You can use touchscreen controls for basically everything here. So I've just started up Skyrim, and this is my Steam version of Skyrim. I've got my Steam account linked over here, so it's really easy to get your games installed. You don't have to worry about DRM-free because it does detect that we're running Steam to play these games. Now, I'm sure if the game has some kind of anti-cheat software that needs to be installed alongside it, it may not work here. But I'm going to go into the settings, and we're going to set this to medium. We're running at 720p medium. And again, I can't stress this enough. This is not cloud gaming. This is not streaming. It's not using Steam Link. The game is installed on my device, and we're emulating it here. I've had really good luck with a lot of these older games, and one I really wanted to test was Cyberpunk 2077, but unfortunately on the Snapdragon 8 Elite, as soon as I get into the game, it just
Yeah, you
crashes
can't
on
handle
me.
it.
And down here at the bottom, we've got our performance
I've seen it
metrics.
run on the
This can
Gen
be
3 though.
customized. It can also
I need
be
to
disabled.
see what it
Gives
looks
us
like
our
on other
GPU, CPU
chips.
usage, FPS, everything like that, so we know exactly what's going on. You can disable it if it's distracting, but
Yes.
it also gives us the total wattage being pulled from the chip we're
We need the
using. And
info, you
again, we've
really
got
do.
that 8 Elite here. I've seen this thing go up to around 10.5 watts with some games, but here it is. OG Skyrim running at medium 720p, 60 FPS.
Beautiful. By the way, I have this on my Steam Deck and I haven't opened it since 2024. I believe. I need to play it. Skyrim.
This is really awesome. I mean, I've always wanted to play Skyrim at a decent frame rate on a mobile device. And of course, we've got devices like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally X. And if you really want to get into portable PC gaming, I would highly suggest picking up one of those devices. This is not an answer for that, not yet at least. And in the future, I mean, with ARM chips being as powerful as they are and seeing how far this has come, it definitely could be. But at the time of making this video, it still has a long way to go. Either way you look at it, I do think that this is impressive. I mean, being able to run some PC games on your Android phone with an ARM chip is pretty awesome. And you can see, I mean, this game is playable. Few graphical glitches here and there, and like I mentioned at the beginning, the Snapdragon 8 Elite still has some driver issues, so there's a chance, I mean, some of these games are going to perform better over on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Now I'm going to move over to my game capture. I'm going to show you how to get this installed, how to get it up and running, a few tweaks here and there. Then I wanted to test out a couple more games by the end of the video. Moving over to the installation, and this might look a little different than your Android phone, but I'm on an Android tablet just to give us a little more screen space to work with. First things first, we need to get GameHub. You can get it from their official website. Check out everything on the page. I mean, there's some information here, kind of get you going.
Oh, God.
But what we want to do here is download for Android. We're going to download anyway. Once that's finished, we'll open it up. We'll install it. And if you've never installed a third-party APK, it might give you a few warnings here and there. I'm just going to go ahead and install. We'll open it up. Now, one thing to note about GameHub itself is you do need an account. What you got to do is basically put your email in, or you could do a Google account, Apple ID. I use an email. You'll have to agree, email, put your email in, whatever you're going to use. You'll choose send, and it'll send you a verification code to that email. Go ahead and grab that. Just place it in here. I'm going to enable notifications. You don't have to. It's up to you. And from here, we can kind of explore the app to see what's going on.
And can I just say the UI is absolutely beautiful.
Listed here, and most of these are going to be compatible. For instance, let's see Doom right here. Perfect support. Now that doesn't mean it's going to work.
That's insane.
And even then, I've run into some of these games that say perfect support that just don't run well. Check compatibility. You can also do this for a game. It'll kind of give you an idea of what you need for that game to run properly on your device. But the main thing here for me, at least, is Steam, and it's easy to set up. So up at the top, we've got my PC emulator, view game library, PC.
I wouldn't try pushing any of these games beyond 720p,
streaming,
unless it's a 2D game.
Another remote play application, and we've also got Steam. So this is where we can log in. When it comes to this part, do it at your own risk. I suggest using an authenticator with your Steam account. That way you're good to go. So you can use the Steam app itself and it'll give you a login QR code to automatically log in. So do this at your own risk. Sign in. Once you're logged into your Steam account, right under your profile here, this is going to be your Steam library. So this is all of the games you own in Steam, but not all of these are going to work. So if I just click on a random one, let's say Left 4 Dead, unknown support. Not exactly.
I also have that on Steam.
I haven't tried it. I've also seen some green check marks and some yellow check marks. So for the green, perfect support here for Grand Theft Auto 4. But some of these are listed with a yellow check mark and it says perfectly supported. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on about that. Either way, like here, Borderlands 3, little yellow, but it says perfect support. Check compatibility. Yeah. So it's kind of hit or miss. I kind of wish there was a filter option. I personally haven't found one. If there is one and you know about it, let me know in the comments below just to find the games that, are supported here. But we've also got our search. There's a newer game out. A lot of people have been loving Silksong right here in my Steam library. Perfect support. We're going to get game, install, keep your screen on and stay in the app for a smooth download. I know. And it's going to download for us. So up here, we've also got our little queue. Give it a little time to finish.
I think with it being an ARM CPU, it would be able to just sleep downloads. But maybe it's an issue with the app, and they haven't implemented that yet.
Okay, so now we've got Hollow Knight Silksong downloaded. You can start it from here, but this is where the ease of use really comes in. So if we want to launch the game, it's going to download the firmware for that game. So basically, this is going to download the proper drivers for your said device that you're installing it on. This has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, I believe. It's the Galaxy Tab S9. So it's going to download everything we need for this specific device. And we can always change that later on. I'll show you how to do that before we even get into the game. After it's done downloading the firmware, it'll start up for you automatically. But if we want to tune anything or tweak any of the settings, we can go to whatever game we want to do this with. Right here, 3 little dots, PC game settings. And we've got our general options right here. So we can open that desktop container. We can change the resolution. You can enable Mango HUD, DirectX HUD, all of the firmware and packages.
It feels very Steam Decky, and to be honest, even this is more dense than the Steam Deck, naturally, because there's less technical factors to interact with, because a lot of it is handled behind the scenes by Proton. But we have the command line, just like in Steam. We have the compatibility tab as well. So yeah, it's very Steam Deck reminiscent.
Pretty decently. But moving over to compatibility, we've got the layer here, which is Proton 10 ARM 64X2. But the translation parameters are really interesting. So this is a pre-made preset for GameHub, the game preset. Sometimes harder to run games will work better with like performance or extreme, but you might have some textures missing here and there, sound glitches. So for the most part, I've been with game presets, but yeah, you can go through, check everything out here. And moving down just a bit, skip audio video, GPU driver. We've got that turnip driver because we're on that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 right here. But you can go through, download an earlier version or even a newer version if one's listed. I'm going to stick with what we've got here because it seems to work pretty decently for the most part, especially if it's one of those games that's compatible and it's got that game preset. So we'll start it up. It's detected my Xbox controller. I've also got a mouse and keyboard plugged in, so you can play that way, even on the built-in screen, but I'm connected to a game capture right now. But this game and a bunch of other indie games like
Beautiful
2 run really well on these devices using GameHub here. They're not super hard games to run in the first place, so it can emulate them quite well. This one's running at 60 FPS. I mean, it's more than enough for me on a device like this, but we could take it up to 120 if we want to. The screen here is a 120 Hz refresh rate display, so from the settings we can go to 120. Before I wrap it up, I did want to show off a couple more games. So here's Dirt 3, and I know it's an older one.
Is that Need for
Speed? I
Speed?
still like to play.
Oh, never mind.
It's fully compatible. We're at 720p. I didn't try to up the resolution on it, even though I think we probably could. Still looks great here on the smaller display. High settings, 120 FPS, and we can't quite hit a steady 120 with it, but it's getting really, really close. And the final one I have here is Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I've seen online that this game running, close to 60 FPS on some Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 devices. Right now, I'm just using the preset that was downloaded with the game. So if I went up to performance or extreme, there's a chance I could get better performance out of it. It's not quite at 40 FPS, but you could lock this down at 30. And I'm sure, in the future, once we get better drivers for these ARM chips, we'll see much better performance.
And better
on a lot of this
chips.
stuff. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'm super stoked for this, and I just can't wait to see what comes in the future. I've been messing around with Winlator for quite some time on the channel, and this is some of the best performance we've seen so far. I'd love to know what phone, what tablet you're using in the comments below, what kind of performance you're getting out of what game. So let us know down there so other people have an idea of what they can run. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And like always, thanks for watching.
All right, let's see the comments. Let's see what they're saying. I'm never going to close that Morton Planewing tab. Those YouTube thumbnails showing GTA 5 gameplay on a smartphone are now finally realized. They've been making those fake videos for years. This has been possible for a while, though. Streaming from another PC, yes. Running directly on device itself, not so long. Yes, and it only took like 13 years. Yeah, the Indian memes, I remember them. It's been 2 years since you can play AA titles on cloud. Not cloud, bro, running them natively. That's what he's referring to. It all makes sense now, the Steam frame coming. Yep. I just downloaded the app. Wow, that's incredible. Been playing Silk Song on my Odin 2 Mini, runs like a charm with cloud save. I can't believe it's this easy. Sometimes just picking it up over my Z13 when I go outside or lay on bed. This is crazy, to be honest. Considering getting a gaming phone next year, like an ROG phone, as it keeps on improving. Bro, if these translation layers get exceptionally well, I might have to go this route. This might be my mini Steam Deck. This is the thing that's stopping me from buying a handheld console. And I say this as somebody that has a Steam Deck OLED. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here. See y'all in the next one. Goodbye.